We're all taught that kindness is a virtue, right? It's one of the best things you can be. But what if I told you that your kindness, the very thing everyone praises you for, might actually be holding you back? Today, we're going to dig into the hidden cost of kindness and see how a strength, when it's left unchecked, can turn into a pretty big weakness.
Wow, this quote really just cuts right to the chase, doesn't it? Now, this isn't about becoming a cruel or selfish person, not at all. What we're really exploring here is the massive difference between kindness that empowers you and other people versus a kind of kindness that just slowly drains you of your energy and your self-worth.
And that leads us straight into something called the kindness paradox. How does a fundamental virtue, something we're taught our entire lives to practice, end up becoming a vulnerability? It seems like it shouldn't be possible.
Well, the whole thing starts really subtly. We get rewarded for being agreeable, right? For saying yes just to keep the peace. And over time, what began as a conscious choice to be kind hardens into this automatic people-pleasing reflex. It's not even an intentional act anymore. It becomes this unconscious obligation you just do. So, what actually happens when this amazing virtue turns into a vulnerability? This is where we start to see the real, tangible costs of kindness when it isn't guided by a little bit of wisdom.
Let's just give it a name, unwise kindness. And think about what that really looks like. It's lending money to someone who never pays you back. It's offering endless understanding to a person who constantly disrespects you. Or maybe it's forgiving behavior that really shouldn't be tolerated. It feels noble in the moment, for sure, but in the long run, it just creates this deep sense of imbalance and total exhaustion.
This slide really lays it out perfectly, the two different paths your kindness can take. Over on the left, you've got kindness with wisdom, which is like a renewable resource. It's sustainable and it builds respect. But on the right, without that wisdom, kindness becomes a liability. It's automatic, it's draining, and you know what? It almost always leads to you being exploited.
And the consequences? Man, they create this vicious cycle. It all starts by accidentally teaching people that your boundaries are, well, optional. That inevitably leads to this quiet, simmering resentment that builds up inside you, which in turn weakens the respect others have for you. And the final cost? You end up neglecting your own goals, your own health, and your own personal growth.
So this brings us right to the psychology of the whole yesing trap. Why are we so compelled to agree to things, even when every single instinct in our body is screaming at us to say no?
We've all been there, haven't we? You know no is the right answer. You know it is, but the word just gets stuck in your throat. So what is really going on in that moment?
When you boil it all down, it almost always comes back to fear. We're not saying yes out of some pure, selfless generosity. A lot of the time, we're saying it to avoid the discomfort of a conflict, or the sting of rejection, or just the anxiety of being seen as selfish. Our yes becomes less about genuinely helping and a lot more about managing how other people see us.
And this right here, this is the hidden cost. Your time, your energy, your focus, these are finite resources. They run out. So when you give an unnecessary yes to someone else's request, you are at the same time saying a silent no to your own goals, your own rest, and your own future. Your progress stalls out, not because you aren't talented, but because your attention is just scattered everywhere.
Okay, so if that's the problem, what's the solution? Look, the answer isn't to become less kind, not at all. It's to become wiser. And that wisdom is built on three really important pillars: selectivity, boundaries, and self-respect.
First up is selectivity. And let's be super clear. This isn't about being cruel or cold. It's about being clear. Your time and energy are your most valuable assets, period. Selectivity just means you consciously choose to invest them in people and projects that actually line up with your values and offer mutual respect, instead of just giving them away to anyone who asks. Next, we have boundaries. And I love this reframe. Stop thinking of them as walls to keep people out. Think of them more like an instruction manual that teaches people how to interact with you respectfully. Because without them, people just don't know your limits, and they'll naturally start to feel entitled to your time and energy. Clear boundaries create clarity, and they attract healthy relationships. And here is a crucial takeaway. A clean, honest no is ultimately so much kinder than a resentful yes. Saying yes when you really mean no might keep the peace for a moment, but what it really does is plant a seed of resentment that poisons the relationship from the inside out. An honest no builds trust. A dishonest yes slowly destroys it. And all this really rests on a single foundation: self-respect.
Self-respect isn't something that people just give you. It's what you build, piece by piece, every single time you keep a promise to yourself. When you honor your own boundaries and you act in line with your values, you're not just protecting your time, you're literally teaching the world how to treat you.
All right, let's bring this all together now. The goal here is not to stop being kind. The goal is to transform your kindness so that it comes from a place of genuine strength, not from a place of obligation.
And this is the ultimate takeaway. When your kindness is guided by wisdom and self-respect, it becomes sustainable. You can give generously without feeling totally drained. It becomes an expression of your own abundance, not some desperate attempt to win approval or just avoid conflict.
This quote just ties it all together perfectly. Success, whether it's in your career or in your relationships, it follows self-respect. And why is that? It's because when you respect yourself, you have the discipline to focus on what actually matters. Your decisions are guided by your future goals, not by your present fears. And that is the foundation of real, sustainable achievement.
So, I'll leave you with this question to think about. As you go about your day, your work, and your relationships, just consider this. In which areas of your life could a little more wisdom make your kindness stronger, more sustainable, and, in the end, a lot more meaningful?